you continue to set up the space and get yourself grounded and ready. Now you are also going to have an intention for this session. So whenever I'm giving my intention, I have a sex magic intention of what I'm manifesting that I work with for usually a whole year. But I also, when I'm giving, my intention is to allow the best of me to come through for the best of them. Okay? So you've done all of that stuff, you've set up, you've had your conversation, and you've set your intentions, and then you ground. Bring your energy into your hands. And then I often slowly approach the back of the sacral center and the heart center. And I'm just like when we feel our hands moving closer and apart, I'm feeling for when I feel some contact. It would be his, right now it's Maggie's, but their energy body. And then the first touch is always stillness. Now you don't have to be a trained massage therapist, but things like rocking can feel really good. You can use not firm pressure. Does this feel okay on your glutes over here? Yeah. You just kind of rock and get the glutes a little bit. And I'm gonna say, why don't you take a big breath and then make a sound. So if I have some oil, sorry, like I said, I don't have assistance right now, but I would take my bottle. Thank you so much. Take my bottle of oil, you can maybe heat it up in the microwave for 30 seconds or so it's nice and warm. Take some oil. And nice long strokes. Right? We're not trying to give him a full-on therapeutic massage. We're just bringing him into his body. And we're allowing our hands to enjoy touching him and touching his skin and squeezing him. And we want to imagine that we're squeezing our love and putting our love into this man. And so longer strokes make for a more sensual massage versus a therapeutic experience. Rolling the inner thighs can feel really nice. And then here's your first mudra. Maggie, may I cup you with my hand here? So you can come, see how my hand is conforming here. My middle finger is kind of coming closer to his body. My others are just sort of touching the inner thigh. My thumb is just hanging out here. But I've got him in a mudra. And so now I can take a few breaths and I can imagine running a circuit and just kind of connecting his base with his sacrum. And then maybe I move that up. So the chakras are like cans of paint, and we kind of dip into them and we paint them around the body. And particularly the second chakra, which is rolling against the bed, we're taking that energy and we're painting it around his body. Okay? Now we do teach other points of interest to visit, but I don't want you to be too concerned about trying to give him a really detailed massage. I just want you to be bringing him into his body, maybe give him some jiggles. Remember how nice it was to have some tapping on your glutes. Give a little jiggle to his glutes. Maybe do some compressions in the erector spinae muscles along the spine. You can do that on both sides. And then, so like I said, you can use, so I would get some more oil. You can use the edge of your hand to come right up against his perineum and then go in between the crease of his butt cheeks, okay? Nice and slow. And then you can kind of pause and let one of your fingers just kind of hold him. And then we usually do end the massage by running a mudra from base and sacrum up through the other chakras. And then there are a couple of things. So Maggie, let's take your left arm and kind of bring it up over your head. There's a wall there, so yeah, you're gonna have to do, just relax it. Oh, there's, looking for that. So roll onto your left side. Can you roll this way onto your left side? Okay. So this is something that you could have started with, but this can also be a nice time to do this, is to kind of spoon him, and you can relax. Can you relax that arm? Yeah, so. And you can breathe. You can bring your hand to his belly chakra, and you can imagine breathing in through the back of your belly, and then breathing out the front into his belly as you imagine him discharging into the earth. Often we start at the heart, so forgive me for that. Breathe into the back of the heart. Exhaling my heart energy going towards my hand on the front of his chest. And I can bring my other hand up to the third eye. And if I can, my head can come behind his. You know, maybe you have too much of a height difference. But you can imagine breathing into the back of your third eye. And then out your third eye into his brain, just kind of calming and soothing his brain. And then finally, not really touching his wand, but just coming onto the front of the pubic bone and breathing in through the back of your sacral chakra. And exhaling. Imagine your energy joined with source energy going into his body so that he can discharge out that chakra. And so at each chakra, doing like 3 or 4 breaths. I believe in your booklet it's called Harmonization of Moods and Energies. I think it's on the index. And so that particular practice is in there. And then let's have you roll all the way over. And can you scoot just a little bit more that way? Now, your man is very big. So, like if I were working on Charles would be diagonal on this bed. Okay? And then I could either stand on the floor and kind of work on his back, like from his head down, or I could be, at his side like I was with Maggie, but I would have him diagonally so that he has plenty of room on the bed. This is a great starting position, is to be at their side, but there are other positions that we can be in. So however it's comfortable, whether it's kneeling or sitting next to him. Now, this is your man, okay? It's a little different than when I'm working with sometimes a man I've never met who comes into my space and it's the first time that we're doing a session. My boundaries are pretty firm. I'm the giver, you're the receiver. I'm touching you, you're just letting me touch you. You don't touch me back. But this is your man. So you might say something like, I really love to feel your hand on my hip and on my back. And if you want to touch me anywhere else, you ask me first. Okay? Because they're going to want to give back. Okay? And so maybe his hand starts coming towards you and he's reaching because he wants to touch your breast. You have a couple options. So Charles said you could say, honey, right now, this is all about you. So I want you to take that love and I want you to put it into yourself. Okay? Take a big breath of that. Ah, yeah. You deserve your own love. Or you could say, let me place my nipple, this is a little bit, in the palm of your hand. Excuse me. Is it okay? Okay. And so you just imagine bringing your focus and your intention into the nipple, and you place it right in the palm of his hand. But I want you to receive, don't give back to me. And so you're breathing, you're still the one doing the giving. He's receptive in his touch. And then if he starts squeezing and taking, why don't you do that same move that you were just doing on me, on yourself? How does that feel? Oh, you didn't like that so much, do ya? Okay. So we're playful, but we're in charge. Okay. So we're not letting them take over or change the focus or redirect, we're redirecting them. So the first thing that we're going to do when we're here, this is a great time for us to remember that his heart is like a yoni. His heart, bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you. So we approach his heart very, very tenderly. And we look into his eyes with all of our love. And so so I'm looking at you because I'm teaching to you, but if you're in the session, you're right here with him. So that, okay, bless you. If he closes his eyes, when he opens them, you're right there with your love. And so you get to love him. God, you're so beautiful. You're so handsome. I'm so blessed to be with you. Is it okay if I do some work on your heart?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Now we know what are the wounds that we might have inflicted on this man. We also know the beautiful things that he does for us. And so this is time. Honey, I'm so sorry for that thing I did the other day. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry about that. I own that. That was my bad. I love you so much. Let's take a breath of that. And just give it a sound. Ah, can we let that go? I'm so sorry for hurting you in that way. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna love you better. And thank you so much for bringing me to this seminar. I'm learning so much and I feel so much closer to you. Thank you. And so again, we get our nice warm oil. And we're very gentle with his heart. And so we can just massage on his pecs. We can do tapping on his heart and have him breathe. Take a big breath into your heart. Hold it for a second. Now open the back of your heart and release into the earth with a sound. Ha! Good, good, good. Yeah, you're doing great. And then we start to paint the energy of the heart down to the belly, connecting the belly and the heart. And again, we just get our nice warm oil and we can make circles around the abdomen. We can, as long as he's not too full, we can kind of do some pressure on the abdomen. Okay, good. Now breathe into your belly, right into my hand and hold it. And a sound of releasing stress, frustration, agitation. Yeah, let it go, let it all go, baby. Good job. Oh, yeah, good. And breathe in. Ah, yeah, you're doing such a good job. Doing such a good job. I love you. I love you. Now, when we come down here, we're not going to go right for his wand. And depending on the man and his mood and what's happening the day, he might be, and he might be, doesn't really matter at this point in time, okay? But do you remember when Charles and I were demoing the touch exercise that you guys did, and I was kind of using my forearm? So that's a great thing to start doing here. You come from the heart, you come down to the belly, and then you get in this area and you come down his legs. And you kind of very gently allow your forearm to brush against him. Yeah, oh, it's so nice to touch you. Oh, you have such beautiful, strong legs. I love your powerful legs. Oh. And then, may I hold your magic wand in my hand?
Sure.
And for most guys, they're just like, duh. But I've had men who were so stunned. What? You're asking me? Oh, wait, I never had anyone ask me that before. And I've had men get emotional and feel really tender because they didn't really think that their body, their sexual organ, was something that deserved reverence and respect and to be honored. And so you don't really know how it's going to affect your man. You might just be like, yeah, of course, that's why we're here. You're just like, all right, okay, I got it. Or he might be touched, and that's, yeah. Oh, thank you for letting me touch you. Can you feel my love in my hands?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to squeeze my love into your wand, and I want you to breathe it in. Take a deep breath. And give it a sound. Oh, yeah, you feel so good in my hands. Thank you so much. And now, so it's nice to have things like pillows and ways to help support the body. Because now we've got his wand, but what we want to do, may I bend your knee?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it can either be on your leg or it can be on a pillow. And we could do one side at a time, or if it's comfortable for his hips, you could set him up like this. And then you can have the wand as then you start going to do some of the inner thigh pressure point work. I wish I'll give you this pillow. There you go. So you can have the wand and take it as you go now to his inner thigh. Okay, take a breath. And good. And another breath. after I do some pointy work, I like to do some nice broad strokes, and I'm not really trying to do anything to excite him at this point in time, but I'm just holding him and making sure he feels that this part of him is included and welcome in this other work that we're doing. So then I might bring the wand to the other side and do the same thing on this side, having him take a breath and then make a sound. Good. As I press in and do that, you can go all the way down to the knee. It's really nice to help relieve some of the tension that's keeping their energy kind of stuck in this area. And then, so you have at various points in the session, you know, to feel into what's working and what's not in terms of what position you want to be in. So you can stay in this position, a position like this. You can come down next to him. You can reach his upper chakras here. You can sometimes use your leg to kind of hold the wand as you're touching him and like doing other things. You can stroke him and do a lot of the strokes like this. Or, and I probably should have had Maggie lay the other way. Would you mind switching and turning your head down here? You can come between his legs and just have him drape his legs over your thighs. And you might not need the pillows because your thighs, if you bring your feet closer to my buttocks, can you relax? Yeah, there you go, just like that. Yeah, good. So now you can do two-handed, two thumbs at a time, work in the groin like that, and still just letting his wand be included in it. Okay. You can, from this point, you can take your hand, is it okay if I do this? Okay. Under the buttocks and press your palm, the heel of your hand and your palm up against his perineum. And you can even do like little circles and a little bit of pressure there. You can take your thumbs on his perineum and do kind of thumb over thumb strokes like that. That feels really nice. And you can do the pressure points right in his perineum. Okay. So you're calibrating it with him as he's doing this. If he's getting like really firm and erect and excited, you're just like, ooh, wow, you feel so alive in my hands. On a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you say you're at right now? And he might be really big, but he's like, oh, I don't know, I'm at like a 4. Okay, all right. Okay. Let's have you take a big breath up to your brain and hold it. And then exhale. Good. And now let me feel you squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. Okay, and then relax. Okay, good. Okay, one more time. Squeeze them tight, 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 tight. And then relax. Good. Now, squeeze, breathe up to your brain. Feel the back of your head. Hold your breath. Exhale, relax everything. Good, good, good. And now just close your eyes and melt your spine into the bed. Abundance. Just feel the bed supporting you. You are so abundant. Beautiful, abundant man. And so once you've got some of the energy moving, because you've opened with some of these pressure points and the pelvic floor work, you can start focusing a little bit more on his wand. And I lost my oil again. And
Is it this?
yes. And can you also hand me that manila folder? Thank you so much. So again, I'm used to having assistants and people who can help me, but
I can be your assistant.
thank you so much. We have a handout. I believe that in the booklet that you have, there are strokes. But these are some of the more advanced strokes that come from intermediate and level 1. So you're not going to be expected to remember all of them, but it's nice to know that there's so much variety of what we can do with a wand other than just kind of doing this kind of stroke. So I am going to put a little bit of oil on my hand just because the rubber is, I won't get it on your clothes. So the first one says squeezing the length of the wand. It says one-handed or with thumb and forefinger every 3/4 inch. So they like, most men want firmer pressure than we think. We might be handling them lightly and we're squeezing them and we're going, I am squeezing you. They're like, no, squeeze me. And they really want you to, oh, I feel you. Okay, so you can just squeeze and enjoy it. Let your hands enjoy the feeling of his firmness, any like warmth or vibration that's coming off of him. Like really let your hands enjoy the feeling of touching him. The healing stroke, the wand points to the navel. You hold the base of the wand and you take your heel of your hand from the tip to the base while the fingers lightly follow. Now, I don't want to get oil on Maggie's clothes, so I'm not pressing, but you're going to press the wand actually against his belly. And then your hand can kind of come like this, and your fingers are just kind of tracing. Okay, so that's one way. You can do that with both hands. Okay, thumb to glands, using lots of oil. You hold the wand firmly at the base with one hand, while the other hand caresses base to tip with a corkscrew motion. So sometimes we also call this feathering. That might be on here elsewhere, also called feathering. But you're doing this corkscrew motion, holding the wand with one hand and then kind of twisting from the other. Okay, energy from the tip. So there's a lot of energy in the tip of his wand, especially when he's firm. So listen, some men, their erection is flexible and it can bend. Some men, not so much. You're watching his face, you're calibrating with him. How does this feel? Do you like this pressure? How about this speed? How does that work for you? And then if you're gonna try to bend his wand down towards his perineum, you're watching him, and if he's like, then that stroke might not work for him, okay? But for some men, you can take the tip, you can bend it down towards the perineum, and then you can stroke from the tip down his perineum towards his base. You're like spreading all of the excitement and energy that's in the tip of his wand down towards his root chakra. So feathering, again, feathering is kind of this motion. You can do it just the tip. You can do it from the base to the tip. You can do it with, obviously, if it would be attached to his body. If you were actually a man, I wouldn't have to worry about it coming off, but you can do it with two hands, and you can do it with a twist. So it's kind of similar to the thumb to glands move also. Palming the crown, you have lots of oil on the palm of your hand, and you just sort of roll your palm around the glands. Again, this is the most sensitive part of his wand. Excuse me. Cat's cradle, you make a mudra with your hand, you interlace your fingers, your thumbs go on the glands, so right on the frenulum, and you can kind of pull. So if you have a lot of oil in your hands and you are holding him tightly, it kind of creates suction in between your palms, and it can almost feel to them like being in a yoni. And then your thumb is right on the male clitoris, right on the frenulum there. And so then you're just, I can't do it because it's not attached to her, but you're kind of pulling like that with the mudra. Okay, a lot of men really like that one. Okay, jewel ring. So we did the pull earlier where we get around the top of the scrotal sac. Some men really like to have their jewels scratched. Okay, so you would just check in. How does that feel to you? Do you like that? You might go, ooh, can you do a little harder? Some men like it. Some other men not so much. Okay, so the slide and pull, you're sliding and you're pulling and you're you're sliding and you're pulling, and you can do it with a twist, and you're having lots of fun while you're doing this, okay? And you're moving around and you're watching his face and his expressions, and you're playing with him. Okay, slapping. So you can take his wand and you can like slap it against his body and against his navel, especially if he's really, really firm and there's been a lot of excitement. And so you're taking that energy from the tip and you're kind of tapping it into his power center along his belly, so you can slap that right against his body. Okay, rolling and then slapping back and forth. They're actually separate. They're on here. They look almost like they're the same ones, but rolling looks like this. It's kind of like a Boy Scout fire. Okay, you might be surprised. I had one client that like this was his favorite stroke. Like every time, it was just like, I'll do that one again. I was like, okay. So it helps to keep the upper arms kind of towards the rib cage because things can get really slippery. And so if you keep it steady like that, then you can roll it. And some of them really like it. Okay. So slapping back and forth is kind of a funny one. And it's sometimes like, you're like, well, when would you ever use this? But sometimes for me, what happens is I'm in a session and things are getting really hot and it's like, light energy will be like, oh my God, look at you. Look at you. You're amazing. Look at you. You know? And so it's hard for me to do this because obviously it's not attached to Maggie, but so you're kind of slapping the wand back and forth. Oh my God, you're amazing. Moving the lower energy around. Okay. So you can take the wand and you can massage down the thigh, up the thigh, around the belly, and then down. It's like a knee to knee stroke. Okay. Thank you for the time check. Scratching the length of the wand in both directions. Now I find that when a man is soft, he wants the firmer pressure largely because it's helping to bring the blood flow and to create the erection. Once he's really erect and like he's kind of in that purple burster mode where he's just like, oh my God, there's so much energy, you can do more yin things on the wand and it can feel really exciting to him. So you can actually use your nails a little bit to scratch the length of his very, very firm erect wand. It's not necessarily as pleasant on a soft on. Uniting the hand stroke, the base of the wand lies between the ring and the middle finger on the left hand, while the right hand strokes upward on the underside of the wand. So again, the underside has the frenulum, which is where it's most sensitive for him. So you're kind of stabilizing the wand with your ring and middle finger, and then you could press it against his body. You could just kind of stroke upwards like that. So you can do mudras, a mudra, right? So we're creating circuits with our hands and or our body. You can do mudras like on the tip. You can do mudras at the base of the wand. So it's not on this sheet, but there's a technique we said the other night called the Arnold, where especially if he's soft, which is not a problem, when we get through all of these, we'll talk a little bit about soft-ons. But so you can squeeze at the base of his wand on either side, and it will stop the blood flowing out of the wand and it will allow the blood to flow in, and so it helps create an erection. Now, if you play around with it, you can find a way to do it one-handed and then use the other hand to stroke. You just kind of have to play around with it. They get slippery, especially when they're soft and there's not a lot of firmness to work with. But if you play with it, I promise you, you can do the Arnold one-handed and you can use the other hand to stroke. Mudra, base chakra, and perineum. Okay. So you can run mudras from the perineum to the base of the wand, from the perineum to the tip of the wand. You can eventually be inside of him and have a finger in his base and have a thumb on the outside of the perineum and run a circuit that way. You can still run the mudra by having the finger on the outside of the rosebud of his base and then bringing the thumb to the outside of the perineum or the base of the wand or the tip of the wand. Okay, so you're not expected to remember all of this. This is really just giving you a sense of all of the things that there are available to do with a wand, because usually we just think of this or this, or, whatever it is. And we're not really going to include that tonight in your session. You could tap on your face. You could tap on your heart. You could tap on your breast. You could bring your nipple right to his glands. Oh, okay. Take a deep breath of that. Oh, yeah, that feels so good. It's like electricity between your nipple and his male clitoris. Okay, so vibrating mudra. Heel, loose fist, or 2-finger vibration of the perineum. So you're either going to have the heel against the perineum, a loose fist, obviously I wouldn't have the ring on, or you can have 2 fingers and other hand on any other chakra, either still or also vibrating. So you can be vibrating here and still on the belly, or you can be vibrating both at the same time. It's just whatever the intention of the energy is in the moment, and that's something that you feel as you move along. And you can tone with them. Okay, let's make a sound. Take a breath. Good. You can use the bija mantrams. Okay, let's do a Vam for the second chakra. Okay. Vam. Good. Yeah. Remember to tone. Remember to reverse the mudra hand to activate Apana. So he said Apana is the downward current. So I'm right-handed. Most of the world is right-handed, but there are lefties in the world where they're used to that being their dominant hand. So, but since I'm right-handed, I'm generally going to be sending the energy from the lower chakras upward, using my left hand to catch the energy in the other chakra, breathe it back up to my heart, and then send it out my right hand again. But there are times when it's appropriate to send the energy downward. Maybe he has been feeling really disempowered sexually, and you just want to get some of that power energy and run it down to his wand. Say, let's bring some of your power into your wand. And maybe you're holding him and you're pulsing and squeezing as now you're running the mudra the other way. Okay? And that takes us into the clearing abuse mudra. So if you have a man who, and men can also be sexually assaulted and abused. We know that there were, a lot of in the Catholic Church and things like that. So if he has something that he needs to release, that is a time to reverse the hands. And wherever the chakra is that he seems to be holding it in the most, maybe it's been blocking his power, maybe it's been causing him to guard his heart, maybe he hasn't been able to express himself, right? And so if it were that, then I would want to move into the other position where I was at his side previously. I would probably cup the back of his throat chakra, and then I would bring my left hand, the receiving hand, down to the perineum, and I would, let's just say it's coming from his power center, but that's the other option is there as well. And we'd say, okay, we're gonna release this because you don't need it anymore. It's gonna come out the base of your body and we're gonna give it to the earth with a sound, okay? So when you're ready, I want you to breathe into your belly, gather everything that you wanna release, and now give it a sound. Good, now breathe in, breathe love into your belly. Close your eyes and hold it, and just feel love. in your power, love and power. And then exhale and release silently. And I can just imagine that it's draining out of him into the earth. Mother Earth loves to compost. She is the ultimate composter. We can give her our stress. We can give her our anger, our fear, whatever it is that we don't need, and she can transform it. She's got plasma, she's got wind and water and fire and all of the elements that can totally transform any dense energy back into something pure. So we just let Mother Earth have it. So kissing and honoring modalities, I think that Charles wants to do a class on both what we call honoring, using the mouth to address the lingam, the wand, and or the yoni. And so we want to not make it the focus of the session, but you can kiss him. Like I said, you can tap your face, you can roll him on your face. But we're gonna, I believe it's part of Charles's plan to have an entire class on how we can really put our love into having him in our mouth, and not have it be something that feels demeaning or diminishing to us. I think that a lot of our sexual conditioning around oral sex has been that it's simply something purely, that we do for a man and we don't get anything out of it. But we can really use it as a way to show him our love and to feel the pleasure of his energy in our mouth. All mudras from mudra sheet, contact at base or perineum or second chakra. So, over time you will get more of a sense of what the mudras are about and how you use your fingers and your hands, or even like your whole arm like this, to help to encourage the circuitry from the lower chakras to the upper chakras, and or vice versa if you're feeling the need to bring energy down. So, whatever you remember, okay? So you want your hands to enjoy. Try using twisting motions, firmer squeezes, rubbing him against his own body. It feels really nice to them to feel their wand. You can stroke him on his leg with his wand against his own leg. That kind of stuff feels nice. You can, is this okay? You can bring him against your heart. You can lie on him. And I love you so much. You're such a beautiful man. Right, but all the while we are loving him. We're present with him. We're letting our hands feel pleasure, and we're transmitting the pleasure that we're feeling. If we're feeling excited, we can squeeze our PC muscles and imagine bringing that energy up to our heart. It comes out our eyes, it comes out our hands. And then we're creating circuitry with him, where we're receiving through touching his magic wand that's full of energy. It's coming in and it's adding to our feeling of excitement. And then we're not trying to get off on him, but let's adjust. Would it be okay if I kind of straddled you a little bit? This is your man. Might be at some point in time where you want to come up and you want to bring your yoni right next to his wand and you want to be stroking him like this. But you're not trying to get a clitoral orgasm out of it. You could be excited and you, hold on, I gotta breathe this one out. Oh, wow, you're so amazing. This feels so good, right? You can straddle him like this. You can bring him behind you, kind of against your butt, and kind of stroke him like this, okay? And then all of the other, so the side or the lying down with him. You could even stroke him in that spooning position that we were in before. You lose some of the intimacy and the eye contact, but you can do that. And now when you're gonna finish, so let's model this. You, let's say I've been stroking you. I'm just gonna modify my position here. And it's like, okay, so we've said, okay, so when you get to I could come soon, you're gonna tap me like this, okay? So I'm stroking, 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 and pretend you're getting to that point. So go ahead and tap me on my body, okay? And so, okay, take a deep breath, breathe up to your brain, hold it, hold it, hold it. So here I am doing the squeeze, and exhale, relax. Okay, let's do it again. Inhale, breathe, hold the breath, and exhale, hyper relax everything. Okay, this time, squeeze your PC muscles and breathe up to your brain. Hold it, feel where your head touches the pillow. Exhale and hyper relax everything. Oh, so good. And then I would run some mudras and state his intention and circulate the energy. And then when we're finished, he's either gonna, so we're gonna be like, okay, so let's say he's decided, look, honey, I gave to you 2 nights in a row. I didn't ejaculate. I've been so good. Can I please have an ejaculation tonight? We're gonna be like, okay, my love, but we're gonna practice that secret to a higher orgasm technique that Charles taught you, okay? So it's like, all right, this time, when you're starting to come, I want you to tap me, okay? All right, let's go. All right, so now go ahead and tap me. Okay, take a big breath and give me a sound. Abundance, 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 abundance. You're so abundant. Okay, another big breath. Abundant. Yes, super abundant, super abundance. Okay, one more time. Big breath. Abundance of pleasure, abundant life. Yes, beauty and abundance. Yes, good. And so what they want is for us to continue stroking them firmly until they stop ejaculating. And then once they stop ejaculating, then it gets really sensitive, kind of like our clitoris after a clitoral orgasm, and then they don't really want us to stroke them anymore. So we keep doing the stroking, and we're breathing with them, and we're sounding, and we're saying their intention. You're so abundant, what a beautiful man you are, because they're wide open. And then, he's ejaculated. Maybe there's some on his leg, maybe it got in your eye. Hopefully it didn't get in your eye, because that stings. it really burns. It gets in your eye. It's like a real thing. But now you have his sacred nectar. Now, you might want to ask his permission, because this is probably new to your guys tonight. You know, I do this all the time if it's with Charles or a student that we do this with, but this is where you would anoint their chakras with their nectar. May you be secure. May you be passionate. May you be powerful. May you be loving. May you always speak your truth. May you always see your path clearly. And may you always be connected to inspiration. Okay? And then at this point, you know, you might want to go wash your hands. If that is not a big concern, you could just come and grab him and maybe hold him. Just take him into an embrace. And just hold him and breathe with him a little bit. Let's put you back on your back again. And so say you didn't, he didn't ejaculate. He wanted to keep it inside. He was going to be a hero tonight.